Hello, everyone. What's going on? My name is Rygos Poppin. Welcome back to Rise Horror Movie Reviews. Man, it's been a while. But today's review, I'm reviewing a classic from 1987. That being Hellraiser by Clive Barker. Now, Hellraiser is actually one of my favorite horror movie franchises, which explains, well, which explains the reason why I have Hellraiser on my top 20 favorite horror movie franchise list as the number 6 pick. So basically, I am lucky to have the first 8 Hellraiser films because apparently I happen to be a fan of Doug Bradley. And oh, I even enjoyed playing as Pinhead in Dead by Daylight, even listening to Mr. Bradley's voice. Anyways, that's only for fun, but on to the movie. So the movie begins with a guy named Frank Kahn who tries opening a box called the Lament Configuration. Kind of looks like a Rubik's Cube, but gold. But rather than getting it solved, it summons chains into Frank's body, tearing him apart. Thus, that leads Frank's introduction to a group of demons called Cenobites. If you don't know what Cenobites are like arbiters of pain and pleasure. So that explains their outfit. So, yeah. Now we get to our final girl, to the final girl and main protagonist of the Hellraiser franchise, Kirsty Cotton. So Kirsty went over to her uncle's place for a weekend, but things started taking a very sinister turn. When Kirsty found that limit configuration, all hell would break loose. No pun intended. Now, the TV started flickering, like so, with a flower plane, and thus came 4 Cenobites. We have Butterball, Deep Throat, Chatterer, and the most recognizable Cenobite of all, Pinhead. Who is the series villain. Now, Pinhead's been one of the most recognizable villains in the 1980s, namely the late 80s, because the slasher genre was starting to fade away a bit. It didn't help with Chucky a year after Pinhead's introduction. Again, off topic, back to this movie. Now, Pinhead actually said the most recognizable quote that I always loved, and which made it to its way in Dead by Daylight. That being, "The box. You opened it, we came. Oh no. No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering. We will tear your soul apart." One of the best recognizable and iconic quotes from the Hellraiser franchise. Now, Pinhead's been the main staple villain and throughout all the installments. That's right, there's been 11 films. In the first 8 films, we have this film, which is based on the 1986 novella by Clive Barker. Then a few years later, we got a sequel titled Hellbound Hellraiser 2. In the 90s, we only got Hellraiser 3 Hell on Earth and Hellraiser Bloodline. In the 2000s, we only got Hellraiser Inferno, Hellraiser Hellseeker, followed by Hellraiser Hellseeker, followed by Hellraiser Deader, and Hellworld, both in 2005. So yeah, it's crazy that there will be 2 Hellraiser films in 2005. Deader and Hellworld. So Hellseeker, pretty much, and all 5 of those films, Infernal, Hellseeker, Deader, and Hellworld, they're all prequels to Bloodline, in which that's where Pinhead goes to space, much like his fellow villains like Jason Voorhees and the Leprechaun. In 2011, Pinhead got a bit of an upgrade. Somehow he's somehow chubby. He's not played by Doug Bradley. So Revelations pretty much began the downfall of Pinhead's design. Rather than being recognizable, we all knew and love, he's somehow flabby. And it doesn't help the fact that he's voiced by Fred Tatasciore, aka the Incredible Hulk, and mostly all the Marvel media. But Judgment's just by far the worst of the worst. It gets the finger for being the worst installment of the Hellraiser franchise. Now, there's that reboot that came out a year ago on Hulu, in which it actually made sense to the source material, in which Pinhead has actually never been a male. In the original source, Pinhead's actually a female, played by Jamie Clayton in that movie. Now, I've not seen the reboot, and I guess I won't because technically that's on Hulu only, so I might have to watch it eventually. So my heart goes to the original. And no offense to Miss Jamie Clayton, although your performance as Pinhead is actually very good, I'll give you that. But I am mostly going to stick my standards to Doug Bradley's original performance. So at the end, Kersey came back and Frank Hunt got all Hellraiser to pieces. And thus the movie ends. Although Hellraiser has been a best noticeable franchise for years, and thus Clive Barker would later create another character in 1992, that being Candyman, also known as Daniel Robitaille. And that franchise only has 4 movies: the original, the sequel, the direct-to-video, and of course, the requel that came out in 2021 by Jordan Peele, in which the character Candyman is not placed as one, but a hive, those being Daniel Robitaille and some real-life people that fallen preyed. You know, like George Stanley Jr. and James Byrd Jr. I mean George Stanley Jr. and James Byrd Jr. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I kind of like to picture both Pinhead and Candyman to be half brothers made by the same guy, Clive Barker. Kind of similar to Freddy Krueger and Ghostface, since they were both made by Wes Craven. Overall, 1987's Hellraiser is a great one and the best one of all. So highly recommend watching it DVD, Blu-ray, or on streaming services, but not when you're driving, because driving and watching, no, no, no. Overall, Hellraiser has a lot of appearances in popular culture, like appearing on The Simpsons. Hell, Pinhead even got to be a playable character in Dead by Daylight. So feel free to pause the video and go check it out. And also download the Pinhead DLC in Dead by Daylight. You'll know what I mean. Overall, I give Hellraiser 5 out of 5. Amazing! Amazing. It gets the golden chains for being the best horror movie from the 1980s. And no offense, Friday the 13th, but Hellraiser definitely earns a spot. I know Pinhead also made a cameo appearance in Space Jam: A New Legacy. Also, here's a little fun fact: Pinhead was actually going to appear in one of the endings for Freddy vs. Jason. Unfortunately, New Line Cinema actually turns out that ending didn't happen for Freddy vs. Jason, because apparently New Line Cinema doesn't even own Pinhead. So what a letdown for a Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Hellraiser crossover. What a disappointment. Although, Pinhead would try and get another crossover with another icon, that being Michael Myers, titled Halloween. But sadly, that movie didn't go through, so what a letdown on that. We'll love to see Pinhead and Michael Myers fight each other. And thus concludes my review on Hellraiser from 1987. So if you got another movie for me to review on, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye, everyone. Stay poppin', stay safe, and take care out there. So feel free to leave a movie request in the comments below, or I'll do a poll. Peace.